Welcome back to the Rise interview. I'm Sumner Sambo, and we'll move on to political issues now. The Emefiele Support Group says the central bank governor is not in any way supporting its activities and mobilization across the country to persuade the CBN governor to run for the presidency. The group, in a media briefing in Abuja, says it has not received a dime from Emefiele for all its activities and condemns strongly media attacks suggesting that Godwin Emefiele is bankrolling its activities. Now, the support group says politicians who are threatened by the central bank governor's rising profile are deliberately sponsoring a campaign of calumny against him.
Of our determination and that of some other groups with like minds to convince Dr. Emefiele to join the presidential race, branded campaign materials, including vehicles bearing Dr. Emefiele's name and photos surfaced in parts of the country and online over the weekend. Expectedly, the developments which signaled our strong determination to ensure that the CBN governor joins the race for the sake of Nigeria has been sending shivers down the spine of some ambitious politicians and their supporters who feel threatened that Dr. Emefiele's entrance may deal a deadly blow to their ambition. They and their sponsored bullies quickly rushed to the cyberspace to accuse Dr. Emefiele of, amongst other things, sponsoring the campaigns. We are proud and bold to say that all Emefiele support groups run on voluntary contributions from eminent members of the various support groups who are desirous of a better nation for us all. Please note that these young and determined Nigerians cannot and will not be blackmailed into abandoning our commitment to a people's agenda to convince Dr. Emefiele to step out to continue, consolidate, and expand President Muhammadu Buhari's legacies.
Interesting development there. A spokesperson for the Emefiele Support Group. Well, for more on this, I'm now being joined by the same person, Benigna Ejimba, who is a lawyer, rights activist, and the Director of Communications of the Emefiele Support Group. So glad to have you join us on the show.
Thank
Benigna,
you very much.
Let's talk about these pictures that actually surfaced during the weekend, and there was a sort of backlash and then some rebuttal, and then some persons who had spoken about it also coming to say, look, I mean, we're misled or misdirected. I'm talking about Reno Omokri, for example. I read his tweet where he later came to actually say that, look, this is being sponsored by some other persons, not Godwin Emefiele, the central bank governor himself. Tell us more about this, because you said it's more about campaign of calumny. What exactly do you mean by that?
Okay, so the ESG, that's the Emefiele Support Group, is one of the voluntary groups that have committed themselves to asking Dr. Emefiele to join the presidential race. And these groups are made up of professionals and farmers and manufacturers, people from all different sectors of the Nigerian economy. And they've come together after our search and determined that, okay, Emefiele is a man that we see capable of leading Nigeria affairs in 2023. So, and so far, we have been behind the campaign materials you've been saying, the buses, the what do they call posters, the branded T-shirts,
saw them all around Abuja.
You know, the caps. Yes, we have been doing that just to put pressure and ask the man to come out and declare to run. So it was surprising that buses that have been contributed by these voluntary groups became an issue over the weekend, and then people decided to lynch on it and then attack the person of Dr. Emefiele. So that was why we saw it very, very appropriate to come up and clarify things. We are doing this on our own. The man is here to say anything. We are hoping he answers us. So we have been doing this, and everybody should know that this monies or anything that they see online is just by voluntary groups. They have no connection to the man Emefiele or to the Central Bank of Nigeria. So that's why we see that as just mere threats by politicians and and their supporters.
Very interesting. I mean, you know that anything that gets missing, gets mixed with politics will, I mean, definitely sell all around the media and all of that. But the concerns of some of these Nigerians remain that a sitting governor of the central bank should not be engaging in politics. But you have just told us here that he himself has not engaged in politics. Now, you have been trying to reach, get to reach him and all of that. Have you seen him one-on-one? What has been his response to this call for him to actually throw his hat into the race?
I've said it before, I've never met the man in person.
I mean your group, not necessarily you.
No, we haven't seen him. We haven't heard from him. We are just doing this, hoping to hear from him. We're trying to get his attention, you know. Come out and say something. There are thousands of Nigerians who are interested in your candidacy. There are people who see you as capable to consolidate and expand on Muhammadu Buhari's legacies. And if we can do anything to get that attention, even if it means branding a private jet, we will do
just
that
to make
get
sure
his
that
attention.
at least he gives you
just to make sure that we get a response from him, and we are hoping it's a favorable response at that.
And don't you think that a lot of people will say that maybe because he's still in government, they want him to resign first if he has this intention, and then that they will want you to also tell them why you think Emefiele is the best person. If you are to market this central bank governor before, a crowd of market women, what would you tell them that are the outstanding qualities that should make him the next president of Nigeria? Okay,
so talking about the man, our reason for pushing him are basically one, his personality, and then secondly, his track record of performance. Now, we're looking at his personality. We see a professional. We see an experienced economist. We see a man that is loyal. We see somebody who is a part of the progress that has been recorded in this administration. We see a man whose candidacy can also douse the quest for the Igbo presidency, because he is from Abo.
Yeah, but he's from the south of the country.
Well.
I mean,
so now we are trying to kill one bird with two stones. The South is asking for one more turn. Emefiele's presidency would resolve that, as well as resolve the quest for the Igbo presidency. So those are the things his personal, that's why we're attracted to his person. Now, talking about his track record of performance, Emefiele has been a man that has shown substantial passion and commitment to his work and to Nigeria's development in general. Now, we see his initiatives from the CBN that has been targeted adequately at the issues that affect Nigeria. We see his initiatives targeted at areas of economic diversification.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned all the farmers and some of the beneficiaries of the Anchor Borrowers program and all of that, which we've seen a lot of people actually commending the central bank governor for. But what would you say to critics of this move who say that under Emefiele, we've seen the exchange rate actually gone up? I mean, the dollar, it's like about 565, 570, and all of that. What will you tell them? Okay, so we do understand that we're talking about a man that has saved Nigeria from economic recession twice. He was brought up in the PDP administration, and he has walked through all the issues that came up, the recession, the volatility of oil prices, and he has been trying to make sure that we don't end up in a place that is that bad. So he's working in a very difficult terrain, and still he's doing a lot to see us pull through from it. So critics, yes, is expected that people, but then the question is the man doing something? Has he been doing something sufficient enough to make sure that we see development in Nigeria's economy? And that we see as the answer to that is obviously a yes. So this would be our response to them. You can criticize the man for his initiatives or anything that you see that is bad, but then how much has we recorded progress since he has been handling the affairs of the CBN? And we see a lot of progress. You know, and people are there testifying to that. That's why we have a lot of people who have gained or who have benefited from his initiatives coming to join the different groups, asking for his presidency. These are like real life testimonies, you know. So yes, you always see critics, but then let us criticize objectively as well. Okay, interesting indeed. Well, some people also say that, look, if you want to be president in this country, you have to belong to a political party. I mean, I sometimes sympathize with him. He was appointed by the PDP, just like you said. For him to have got 2 terms, it means that the APC also trusts him so much. So he's been trusted by these 2 parties. The PDP gave him the first term, the APC gave him the second term. And so he's in the middle of it. Yes. You would have to become a member of a political party before you get the ticket of the party, and then before you run at the general election. And then with the Electoral Act also, you would have to resign from your position before you seek the presidential ticket of any of the political parties. Isn't this a difficult task ahead for Godwin Emefiele if indeed he must, attend to your call for him to run for the presidency? So
I don't see so much difficulty with it, because here are people asking you to come and lead the affairs of the nation. Now, it's a bigger role, it's a bigger shoe to fill in.
Yeah, but he's a technocrat.
Yes, he's a
Can he just resign and join a political party, which he's not so sure that they may give him the ticket, but as CBN governor, he's assured of completing his term?
Okay, so it is a decision that he as a person has to make if he decides to take up the call. Now, the question of resignation, when he decides to take up the call, there is a time frame within which he would inform the president that he has to step down and then take up the position. There's a process. There are processes that he would definitely follow through, and that he would do when the time comes. Now, for whether he should, he's focusing on his job. He's not on that.
He said that over and over. He doesn't want anyone to distract him. Just yesterday, he was at the National Theatre, one of his projects, which is a very good project, which is aimed at reviving that edifice, and making it a national monument with all sort of ancillary services around. And so tell us about that. How much impact has the Godwin Emefiele governorship of the central bank helped to create, especially jobs for young people? And what sort of reception are you getting from Nigerians as you try to market a potential Godwin Emefiele for president? Okay,
we're getting a very good reception. Since we started our campaign and our movement, we've been getting calls from Nigerians who have actually gained and benefited from initiatives of the CBN. We're getting calls from SMEs. We're getting calls from groups, farmers, people who have benefited from his intervention in the agro sector. So that shows us that we are working with the right man for the job, somebody who has done something to impact on the ordinary lives of Nigerian citizens. So we believe that, all this, with those who haven't even said anything, who are still waiting on him, okay, when you decide to run, then we are ready to wear the jacket and follow you. Yeah. Because everybody is still, okay, we're waiting on him, he hasn't said anything, so I might as well stay back and then, But those of us who are more committed to it said, okay, we'll keep putting pressure, we'll keep asking. That's why we're putting out everything that you see on the media, to get him to notice us.
Very interesting. You have a very, very huge task ahead of you. Now, as we try to round off this conversation, let's talk about Emefiele joining a political party. Joining the All Progressives Congress to seek its ticket in the midst of, bulwarks like Tinubu and potential Oshibanjo, potential Rotimi Amechi, and all of that. Do you think it's going to be an easy task for him to get the ticket and then to go ahead and contest and win in the general election?
I wouldn't say it's an easy task, but then I believe that the APC is also interested in a candidate that is going to be capable to consolidate and expand on the current progressive legacies of this administration. So if they are looking out for the candidate, we are presenting Dr. Emefiele as an option for them. Yes, these other persons are there. It might appear like, okay, it's going to be very difficult. But if the APC is really keen on winning elections with the capable man, then we are presenting this as an option for them. So I don't see it, as much as it might be difficult, I see that it's also an easy choice for them to make, because his candidacy is going to solve a lot of issues, like I've mentioned already, and they will be working with somebody that is capable, somebody who has affected the lives of citizens, somebody that the ordinary citizens can reach, so that I think is much easier for them, to make decision whenever they decide to make their decision. So we are the ones calling on the APC leaders and the delegates, asking them, look at this man. We feel he's, yes.
Okay, very interesting indeed. Thank you. And then let's look at the Southeast. Do you think that the Southeast will be comfortable having Godwin Emefiele that comes from Delta State, which is South-South geopolitical zone, coming to contest for it? Because, they may say he may be of Igbo extraction, but he comes from a geopolitical zone that is not the Southeast. How don't you think there's a difficulty there in getting the support of the Southeast?
I don't see any difficulty there. He's an Igbo man, whether we want to say he's in the South or anything. He's an Igbo man.
He's of Igbo extraction, but not from the Southeast.
But from, yes, exactly.
Oh, okay.
You know, so he's an Igbo man. And what we're asking for is an Igbo presidency. Right? So this man is an Igbo man. You know, his Eka is of the Igbo descendant. So why would it be so much of an issue for them if this man is presented as an option?
They keep saying that the zoning is to the geopolitical zones and not to ethnic groups. Okay. What will you reply to that?
So the Igbos are looking for a president. And the Igbos will not be rejecting their brothers. So I don't think that it's so much of an issue, you know, because it's not like when we talk about the Igbos, we are going to remove the Delta Igbos from the equation. We bring them into the conversation when we are talking about the Igbos generally. The Ohanese group, the states that make up this group, the Delta extraction is part of it. So why would we deny our own because we want to cling on the Southeast? Or the divisions around the geopolitical zones, yes.
Okay, and so as we try to go into this 2023 general election, you're selling a potential candidate of Godwin Emefiele. Some people also tell you that the place of technocrats in governance can be a little bit dicey. I mean, sometimes when you have technocrats as politicians, it could be a little bit dicey. But what sort of experience do you think a potential presidency of Emefiele can help, you know, to change the country? I mean, if you have a technocrat as president, how would that change the country? We've seen former central bank governor Charles Oludo now as a governor. If you have an Emefiele as president, what sort of change do you think it will bring to the country's development?
Okay, so we, in our research to coming up with the right candidates, we looked at countries that were in one economic issue, recession or issues, and then decided to toe the line of calling up an economist to handle their affairs. And then there are quite a ton of them. And there was a progressive turnaround from the emergence of these people. And now, coming to the Emefiele candidates, this is somebody that has shown commitment, he has shown passion. You know, he has shown that he knows what he's doing and he's committed to his job. So he, as a CBN governor, was able to do things. Even some people might say that Emefiele goes beyond his reach certain times, you know, because he intervenes in several sectors. During the COVID-19 pandemic, he intervened in the health sector. You know, some people might come, oh, why is he everywhere and everywhere? But this man understands the need for a healthy economy. So, and he has been able to do all these things as the CBN governor. How much more when he leads the affairs of the nation?
Very interesting indeed. And what will you say to your critics? Lastly, before we go, I mean, you had very harsh words for them at your press briefing. But I mean, this is politics, and people always throw darts at your candidate, your preferred aspirant for the position of presidency. And so, when they bring these issues, I mean, what do you tell them?
I would say they should be calming down. They should just hold on and wait for the man to declare. Okay. As soon as he declares, they will have the right responses for them. Right now, you know, it's just all noise. And, you know, responding to every tiny noise, you know, and because they're not even criticizing him on his the quality of his person. They just go, oh, the CBN should not intervene, blah, 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 and all those things. And I'm like, okay, this man hasn't come up to declare. Until he does that, and then probably now refuses to say, okay, I'm not going to resign, I'm going to continue doing the CBN job as well as mixing the policies, and we can have real issues to discuss. But now we're not seeing that. You know, we're seeing a man who has remained committed despite the calls and everything. So I would say that they shouldn't worry that we are ready. We have the right responses at the right time. Now, there is no need to respond to issues that really shouldn't bother us, because it doesn't make sense accusing a man who hasn't declared for doing certain things that there are groups that have openly said, we are behind it. We are asking for him. So attack us as the group and leave the man out of the equation until he comes up.
Very interesting indeed. Benigna Ejimba is the Director of Communications at Emefiele Support Group, and we can only wish you well. We hope he listens to you. If he does listen to you, we hope you will be there to support him till the end.
247.
Okay, Omar, thank you so much.